his own pushing for them to criminalize it. Mind you, it's just one person in the house. What about the northern caucus that these things definitely going to work against? Because so many government officials, as we are aware at this moment, are supporting and also sponsoring terrorism apart from the negotiation. So will they also sit and watch him put their leaders into a criminal situation like that? They will definitely argue it, or it could be an argument until the tenure is over. So him saying within 6 months, within that 6 months, if Trump really wants to declare Nigeria as a country of particular concern, the war over terrorism will almost be over, because America is not like Nigeria where they will pamper with them. With few days strike and seriousness, I'm sure those people will go back and then we have a rethink, because they are not going to joke with them. 6 months is too much. If at all they mean business, how will you take 6 months to make a law that will criminalize negotiation with terrorism? This is 6 months is too much. They said when it comes to borrowing money, does it even take them 2 sittings? So why take a whole lot of 6 months for him to be able to bring that law? So for me, we've never taken them seriously, and I will not take them seriously, particularly for the fact that it was 6 months. 6 months for what? So that's my take on it.
Okay, so while you were talking, you made mention of if Trump comes to Nigeria and, of course, carry out a threat like he has actually said he would, that the thing, the next insecurity will become a thing of the past. Why are you so sure of this? Why are you very sure that this would actually be dissipated within before 6 months, like you said?
Yeah, America is a very serious country, and while we are not expecting them to come and start fighting in our forest, I believe if they want to act in Nigeria, they will act in a way that is going to bring down insecurity. The fact is that they have made a statement and the world is watching. And Trump is not someone who will make a statement and go back on it. America is not a country that will make a statement and play around that statement. So while we are not expecting them, even if they have to come boots down on the ground, and we are sure if they mean it, they are going to stamp out these terrorists, because they know where they are, they know where they stay, and so they are not like coming from this space that they will just enter into Nigeria and disappear into space, and you wait for them again to come. So I'm very sure they will do something within these 6 months, and he is very sure that America is a debate that is going on in America every day, much more than we are debating it here in Nigeria, because it's a concern to them, particularly the killing of Christians, because they cannot dissipate Christians from Nigeria. Nigeria is a Christian country. Nigeria is an Islamic country as well. And so one religion will not take prominence over the other. We have other religions in Nigeria that they also have the right to practice what they want to practice. So while Islamic terrorists come to stamp out Christians in Nigeria, in like if they are having a jihad on the country. So that's my stake. America will surely come in, and I'm sure they will come in. They may not come boots on ground, but certainly they are going to put measures in place that will make us know that yes, America has spoken. So when they speak, any other country they are talking about will take them seriously.
Okay, if I can hear you correctly, you're actually applauding, and you're applauding Trump coming down to Nigeria to do the needful. I will get back to you, but let me come to the studios. Dr. Peter, we know that ransom negotiations, it's the order of the day. And we also know that the reason for all of these negotiations sometimes is because of the state's inability to rescue victims. So why is it that can government actually criminalize ransom negotiation without addressing the failure that has actually caused the negotiation in the first place?
The issue is this: what Benjamin Kanu is just saying is just mere talk, understand, rhetoric. So because when you are in government, you feel that you know, others don't know. Others don't know. What that's by giving you 6 months, it's just to deceive you. It's just to deceive you. This is November. 6 months is almost April or May of next year. By then, campaign has started. So who will be in the National Assembly that will do all this? These guys think that they are fast, understand me, or that that they know something. One, assuming that this bill is even brought to the National Assembly, it will not go beyond the second reading, because all of them are involved. All of them are involved in this negotiation. Just imagine what Bayo Ononoga tweeted, that DSS sent a message to the bandits, and they released the 38 worshippers in Kwara. DSS sent a message, which means DSS had their number. Do you understand that? DSS had their number, they sent a message, then DSS said, okay, the kidnapper said, go. Understand? So that they don't reason before they talk. That's my anger. He doesn't know the implication of that statement. DSS having the numbers of bandits. You have their number, you should allow them to be operating. They first of all kidnap, cause panic. That's to families. Understand? Cause families before you now send message, release those people, and they will obey you, because you buy guns for them. So this shows you, for me, he just wants to talk because he is feeling ashamed. Understand? He is just trying to kind of gather momentum. Understand? Because all the promises that he made, he's with Tinubu. He has talked with Tinubu. Tinubu has promised him of using Nnamdi Kanu. Understand? He is number 6. He's number 5. So he's just trying to kind of build a self-confidence, and he doesn't even know all the way to go about it. And you want to pass that's a law as important as insecurity. You are giving yourself 6 months. This shows you how unserious they are from A to Z. So for me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even worth us talking about it. It is a waste of time.
Okay, but do you really think that outlawing negotiation, do you think it would push kidnappers toward more violent tactics, if at all this happens and negotiation is outlawed?
The issue is this. It cannot be out. That law can never see the light of day in the country because it is going on a daily basis. All strata of government is involved. Local government is doing it. State is you heard what Erifai said that Kaduna State government paid 1 billion. So and Sheikh Gumi is the negotiator in chief. So do you want to throw Sheikh Gumi into the unemployment this market? The answer is no. So it's just a waste of time.
Okay, let's come to you, Kinane. Are there mechanisms? Do you think that some mechanism should exist to hold security agencies accountable for failed rescue missions? Because we've actually we've had so many failed rescue missions in the country. Of course, we just had one recently. They said they rescued people, and then we can't even see any of the bandits who was apprehended, or we didn't even see any of the bandit who was killed. But some persons say some rescue missions were, as in some persons were rescued. So what are there? Should there be mechanisms? Can there be mechanisms to hold security agencies accountable when rescue missions fail in the country?
Yeah, let's look at this narrative. For me, there has never been any failed rescue mission in the country. What we have been witnessing is their own narrative to deceive Nigerians. If the military wants to go for rescue, certainly they will rescue Nigerians. Like we have said, a good number of the National Assembly members or reps and are part of their so-called banditry. They are the ones who are the administrators of the operations. They are the ones who will come out with their own narrative for us to hear that there has been an effort by government. In reality, there has never been any failed rescue. I'm sure the military knows what to do if they are given the free hand to go for rescue or even ensure security within the region. Because they are benefiting from it, they try to restrict them from doing their duty as trained soldiers of this country. When it was time for them to go and do rescue missions abroad, they went and they succeeded. Is it here in Nigeria that they cannot succeed if they are given the free hand? So the narrative they are telling us just to deceive us. In reality, we have heard statements by a lot of military officers how they are being controlled from taking out actions. In fact, we are all aware, it's all available on the social media for some of those officers who refused to do their bid, how they have punished them. Some of them were even court-martialed. Some of them were even threatened to sack them from the army. And so you will see that everything you are saying now is, in fact, for Nigeria, let's understand one thing. It is only the declaration of Trump that has made us feel that something is happening in this country. They have done worse than this before, and nothing happened. But just because of that declaration, that the president has decided to make a very strong statement and even
self-esteem syndrome, because you never believe that Biafra will be a nation. I am telling you today, researchers estimate that each attend more or less 20,000 thoughts, what people think every day. And our ancestral tendency is to pay more attention to the negative ones, which is pure survival instinct. Biafra agitation is no longer tout, is no longer motopack. Professionals have joined the league. We are making impact and alliances all over the world. It is no longer because Biafra is here, it's no longer the time you say uneducated people are there. Those people are no longer in the forefront of the nation. Most people with low self-esteem, though, are more prone to paying attention to the negative aspect of themselves. Their lives and external input, such as people and their situation. This is what Nigeria has offered you. Nigeria has made every Biafran to see himself or herself as a low self-esteem. And all you do is to see the negative impact of Igbo man. All you do is to see the negative part of Igbo man. You do not see the positive part. Upon the fact that Nigeria tells you, Igbo contribute the best. Igbo can change Nigeria. Igbo can do everything, turn it upside down and turn it to gold. Yet, you don't see that part of Igbo man. You don't see that part of a Biafran. You see the negative part of Biafra. Igbo man is this, Igbo man is that. But Nigeria is telling you, even as bad as Nigeria. Nigeria tells you that Igbo man is this. Yoruba man tells you Igbo man can change Nigeria. Hausa man tells you Igbo can convert anything. Every other tribe in Nigeria tells you about Igbo man. Only you, the Igbo man, that is see yourself as enemy of yourself. Yet, you don't understand the impact you would make in a nation that you are going to govern yourself with every blessing of God upon your life. Today, we have come to change the script. I want you can name this speech of the Nation Today address as changing the script. This is called negative confirmation bias. And it is quite like seeing the world and us in a true dark lenses, failing to pay attention to the positive. You fail to pay attention to the positive of Biafra people. When you talk about freedom, you say, oh, they are fighting on social media. How can they govern themselves? That is the negative part. You pick it, but yet you call Obi. Obi want to be a president. Obi want to do this and do that. Is Obi not also part of that negative part that makes you not to support Biafra? Don't worry. By the time Biafra come, you will take your bag and baggage and go to northern Nigeria and enjoy your north. Believe me, we will give you the opportunity. This has tremendous impact on how we feel about ourselves. The meaningfulness we get out of our lives and, of course, our behaviors. Nigeria has impacted your life, and today you are branded with so many negative names to point that you are scared of your own freedom. Nigeria has done that. They impact you with all manner of thoughts. You become scared of yourselves to the point that you as a Biafran is scared of having your own freedom. And they do that and they stay by the side and they laugh at you. They say, look at them. They thought they are educated. We have impacted this particular low self-esteem on them, and look at how they brand each other. Why the terrorists are coming, carrying gun, You have never seen the Fulani man or the federal government branding the Fulanis that are killing your military, killing your personnel, wiping villages, branding them with bad names. They call them criminals. Ordinary criminals, they call them. They call them criminals. Some of you in the struggle have called me criminal. That is the same value that the Fulani attached to the terrorists that you see bombarding Abuja yesterday. Yet you call yourself a brainy person. Why this state of the nation has become necessary is because we are changing the script. And we are going to change this script by force. We are going to change it in this armed struggle. If you do not know that we have entered armed struggle, we are declaring the armed struggle today, in case you don't have knowledge about that. We are into armed struggle. For our freedom. I want you to understand that Nigeria impacted you, impacted your life, and today you branded with so many negative names to the point that you are scared of your own freedom because of the negative impact of Fulani government policies in your life. Only Biafra can solve this problem. That as Biafra using Nigerian passport, you are treated as a criminal or as a terrorist, while you are not one of them. Yet, your low self-esteem could not allow you to support Biafra. You are scared of what Biafra would be. You are scared of the lies and the propaganda that they manipulated you into. I want every one of you watching me today on this stage of the nation broadcast to think that the impact of tunnel vision focus on the negative and how this can make matters worse than they are. They create more stress. They create more stress, increase insecurity, and we end up engaging in behaviors that are ultimately disconnected from our values. Today, some of you have completely disconnected, even with your so low self-esteem and your insecurity on supporting Biafra. You have been disconnected from the value that made you who you are as a Biafran. Yes, a vicious circle. Nigeria has given all this as a failed state. What I'm telling you today is fact. We do not mince words. Nigeria has given all these things I have said as a failed state. This is the impact of Nigeria in your life. A failed state. Today, when the Fulani terrorists were attacking Abuja, all of you were running scatter. Some of you that build one batter in Abuja, in the area where they attacked, you ran for your life. And the government were not there to help you. Because I want you to understand that no, the presence of Biafrans in that area are much. Just the way when they attacked church in Yoruba land, all of you were shouting, they have attacked Yoruba, they have attacked Yoruba church. Do you know the number of Biafrans that were casualties or victims in that church attack is higher than the number of Yorubas? Have you forgotten that almost all the people that were interviewed as a victim of that church attack were all Biafrans? Igbo-speaking Biafrans. Are you not aware? That is why we are now addressing every Biafran across Nigeria. A failed state without strong governance that plunged into disorder. Nigeria is an example of that. Violence and sponsoring terrorism against its own people and citizens. Nigeria, being a failed state, must end by 2000.
for even government to play his game. Because, for instance, how does he determine if Kanu will show remorse?
That's what he's asking for. If
the point is, who determines the remorseful attitude of Kanu? Is it the officials in the correctional center, or is he going to undertake periodic visits to Kanu? Because right now, even if Kanu is going to appeal, he cannot be there physically. Even if he's going up to Supreme Court, the lawyers will be there on his behalf. He's not going to appear because he's not going to give further evidence. So where will he see Kanu to know that he has shown remorse? Is Kanu going to be exposed to the media, even when part of the judgment was that he should not be allowed to have access to digital devices, which includes phones, laptop, camera, and other gadgets. So where is he going to see Kanu to determine that the man has decided to be remorseful? And at what point? Is it through his utterances? Is it through his actions? Or whatever is he going to use as parameter for judging it? I think he is just trying to score a cheap political gain by saying all of this. If there is going to be a plea for Kanu's amnesty, it's not going to come from Gumi. Because I don't see the correlation between Gumi asking for pardon and the federal government saying because Gumi has said is seeking pardon for Kanu.
I think what Sheikh Gumi is practically saying is that, look, Nnamdi needs to send out message probably to Nigeria to say, fellow Nigerians, I'm sorry for the harm I caused you people, for the people that...
So he's going to address a press conference?
No, even if he doesn't address a press conference, send out message for the
government here. Through what? Through which means?
Through his lawyers. His lawyers still have access to him.
I am telling you.
Okay.
How many Nigerians?
No, I'm not speaking for Gumi.
You understand?
I think that is
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if anybody, look at what happened to that woman that killed her husband.
Okay.
That the name suddenly popped up on the list. In the yes, and popped out in the list of those to be granted amnesty. Now, you don't need anybody to tell you that there was an underground move.
Probably that's what Gumi is talking about.
And
lawyers, the
if he has that intention, he doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to come to the press.
Okay.
You see, I've always said one thing, that the worst thing you can do to yourself when you are trying to discuss with a big man, even in your community, is to expose him to others. Because he wants to show bravado. He wants to show that his ego is intact. He wants to show that I am in charge. And so even if he has that thing in him to come down to your level, he will not want those people around to say, so after all, this man is a weakling. Because I've experienced it on 2 or 3 occasions. There was a time I insulted my Oga at the back while he was not there. Unknown to me, some other guys were recording. And immediately we left the scene. The man that recorded went to report to my boss that, look at that daily that you think is your boy. Look at what he said behind you. Unfortunately for me, I traveled to Kwara for an assignment. The following morning, the same person that went to play this recording
to your boss,
to my boss. I was in the Guardian then.
Okay.
And he was the one to even pretend as if he was hinting the fact that I am already in trouble, that I should come to Lagos. And I told him, I said, even if I'm going to be sacked, this assignment was commissioned by the company, and I'm representing the company here. So I must conclude this assignment. So I concluded the assignment. The following day, I returned to Lagos, and I went straight to the office. everybody was all over the place waiting for me to be disgraced and served letter of sack. But because I know for a fact that the only way I could be saved is to have one-on-one with that man, without anybody. So what I did was, as soon as I was coming in, those who were still around the office came looking around close to the man's office.
To get a feel of what,
to get a feel what is going to happen to me. So what I did was, I just went in straight, locked the door behind me. The man was startled. He thought I was coming to injure him. And I had to prostrate, flat. I was wearing a suit with a white cotton shirt. I didn't mind. Because I needed to save my job. And I started pleading. I said, Oga, if anybody has told you that I did this, it is true, I did it.
Okay.
But I cannot do it in your presence because you are my Oga. But you, Oga, let's be realistic to ourselves. How many times have you abused Jonathan? Jonathan was in government then. I said, but you have abused Jonathan now. So Jonathan will now wait and say, because you have abused him, he will come and remove you from here or remove from the world. Okay. I said, so please, let bygone be bygone. Okay. Do you know, to the chagrin of those people that were waiting for me, the man, no,
what I mean is that
yes,
the case died out.
The case died just like that, and it was rested. So, but if I had gone around to be begging people, those who think are begging for you, maybe the
ones that are trying to nail you,
to even nail you, to even want to say, why are you giving him life sentence? Why don't you even give him death sentence?
Okay, now let's come back to what Sheikh Gumi had said, and I would like for us to. Nnamdi Kanu, you know what Sheikh Gumi represents in the Nigerian political equation, you know, as far as the security architecture is concerned, medical doctor, retired military colonel, and all of that. And he's been very busy canvassing, you know, for bandits to be given amnesty, reintegrated, the non-kinetic approach and all of that. Now he is trying to ask, or he's asking Nnamdi Kanu to show remorse. And a lot of people, including lawyers, have argued that Nnamdi was sentenced based on what he said and not what he did. The legal aspect of it, the legalese. But this is someone who says Nnamdi should show remorse. Meanwhile, he is busy campaigning for amnesty for people who have killed, people that have been arrested. Serial killers with guns and all sorts of lethal weapons that have killed fellow Nigerians. So where does that leave us as a people in terms of the color of justice that we have in this country?
You see?
And the man is working free, he's negotiating with bandits, holding meetings with them, and even negotiating pictures and videos. And government officials backing him. The other day he was on this station and he said, look, I had approval for everything that I did. Now, who gave you that approval? I asked him. He couldn't say. He said, authorities. Which authorities? He dodged the question. So in all of this, what is the color of justice where we have a man who is supporting armed killers? And now he's asking someone who was just waving a flag to say, no, if you show remorse, I'll plead for you.
That's what I said. It's just catching his cruise. Using somebody's life that is at stake to catch cruise. And for him to have said that is double standards. How could you? I was somewhere earlier today and I asked this question. These so-called bandits, are they fighting for a cause? Are they championing a cause? What is the cause they are championing? When Niger Delta youth took up arms against government, it was because they have degraded their environment. They no longer have life. Fishing could not be done. And then gas flaring had almost killed all the inhabitants of that area. So they want to have their life back. And when they were kidnapping to make statements. If you don't leave our land, we will not release these expatriates. And as soon as they move oil workers from their territory, they release those people without taking a kobo. You know that those ones are making statements. Now, when it got to Boko Haram, they said they don't want Western education. Now, that one can even be tolerated. But the bandits, what are they protecting? What do they want? A bandit that is protecting illegal miners to mine our collective patrimony without government approval. You are now saying, and in the process, they kill, maim, rape, and get away with it. So the few ones that are arrested, in no time, they get freed. Until American government made some proclamations, we never heard of anybody, any terrorist, being jailed in this country. And shortly after the Trump statement, they jailed 2 people, 20 years. Where are they serving? Nobody has told us. But when they jailed Nnamdi Kanu, we knew that he was taken from Abuja to Sokoto prison. Those 2 people that they said they have sentenced, where are they? We don't know. The correctional center where they are kept. So you can see the double standards in all of this. For me, Gumi is just acting a script that until government has the will to ask him some questions, we may not get to the root of this matter.
Okay, until government gets him to ask him some questions, we will not get to the root of this matter. Because I was asking, he's very curious that this man has information, he has intelligence, he knows where the terrorists are, and we are busy looking for them. We are busy looking for charges.
Because
so does it look like
he's part of them?
Why is okay? He's part of them
because they have so much confidence in him that is speaking their minds.
Now that is the point. The government knows where this man is, and they are looking for some of these kingpins, and yet they cannot get this man to say, "Look, you have to take us to where he is." Does it look like government is shielding him? Does it look like he has something against the government that, look, if you touch me, I can spill the bean? What does it?
You see, what I see in Gumi is that his backers are very strong, and there are some interests that are external to this country that are fueling whatever Gumi is doing. Because the man has suddenly become untouchable. Nobody can question him. He just open his mouth and say anything, and he doesn't care because he knows that there won't be repercussion. How can you say somebody who has no intention of either protecting his people or supporting his people suddenly because he is able to? Now, today, when last did you read about armed robbery in the newspapers? Armed robbers have transformed to kidnappers because it's more lucrative. Show me anybody in this country today that will keep 20 million naira in his house, waiting for armed robbers to strike. But 100 million can be paid in less than 2 days if you kidnap somebody of means. So, somebody is out there using his influence to openly support those people who took up arms against the state without any reason at all.
And the state is not saying anything. Now, he said something that is quite instructive. He said he could have powerful backers in government.
Yes.
And if not just in government, but outside.
Outside the country.
Now, let's look at the outside perspective. He went to Saudi Arabia sometime last year.
He was thrown back.
He was thrown out. Now, we have UAE that has given us 411 names of terror sponsors. That clearly shows you that, look, UAE is against terrorism of any form. So that was why they were able to release those names. In fact, 2 sets of names. And up until this moment,
nobody has told us these names.
But shortly before, about 2 weeks ago, Gumi was in Turkey. And it was in Turkey that he made very incendiary statements about Trump, having to go with a bloody nose if it comes to Nigeria. He cited the case of Afghanistan. He cited the case of Iran. And he said, look, what is even going on in Gaza? America has not been able to solve the problem. It was in Turkey. And again, so should we be looking at Iran and Turkey? Is it possible that these countries could be his backers? If he made those statements in Turkey, nobody censored him, he wasn't cautioned, and he came back. What does it speak?
It was convenient for him to make such statements in Turkey.
And you understand what Turkey represents?
Of course.
Recently,
yes.
Recep Erdogan has been, he also battling insurgents, the PKK, the Kurd, the Kurdistan Workers' Party that is having problem over 40 years, in Iraq.
Interminable crisis
within that region.
Yeah. You know what? For me, I see it beyond a country giving support. But to what end will a country give support? Most of the legal miners that we see around, even up to Ede, I mean, Osun State here,
yes.
Elisha, Axis, and Ife, they are Chinese.
Okay. Not Arabs.
Not Arabs. And what I see ultimately is another justful for Africa.
Okay.
And it appears that most of these Western nations, they just want a slice of the cake from Africa. And as long as we still have mineral resources embedded, because the shift is no longer about oil, because it's getting out of fashion with shale, with alternative energy like solar, nuclear power and all that. So now the attention is on mineral resources like gold, bauxite, uranium, lithium, and the rest of them. And we have it in abundance here. And I just hope that we will not have a repeat of what has been assailing Democratic Republic of Congo here. It was estimated that embedded in Democratic Republic of Congo is about $34 trillion
underneath
Republic of Congo. And what is the GDP of Congo today? How are the Congolese faring? But you can't compare. There's no basis for comparison between Nigeria and Congo.
Okay,
with all the wealth.
Okay, so in all of this, if we reduce it to economic interest, of the
economic interest is there.
You think it has nothing to do with religious persecution and all of that?
You see,
or is it a blend of both?
You see, it will take a coloration of almost everything that had happened in the past. It's not a repetition of history.
Okay.
When the British, the Portuguese were coming, they came with Bible. Because they felt that, how many of these people shall we kill to grab whatever is in their country? Rather than kill them, why don't we soften their minds? They brought Bible. And it was used to soften our minds. Because they assumed that we are savages living on trees and all that. Now, when the Arabs wanted their own infiltration, they brought Islam through jihad. Now, they made nonsense of our tradition and culture and administrative setting. Ever before these guys came, we had our administrative settings in our various tribes. Yoruba had Oyomesi. Even this Ogboni that is degraded and derided.
We had very central governments.
Very central government, yes.
Thousands of years,
So, but they came and we embraced them. It's the same thing that is going to happen now if guys not taking. So they will make sure that they bring economic, religious, ethnic coloration to this. So if you are not trapped in the economic sphere, you'll be trapped in the religious enclave or the ethnic enclave. And that is what is playing out in Nigeria today. Unfortunately, our leaders have not been able to rise above these shenanigans for us to live and live peacefully in the country and live among ourselves as brothers and sisters. I hope it will not escalate to the point that we'll be having a repeat of what happened in Rwanda between Hutus and Tutsis. Because any migration further beyond Niger, Kwara, Plateau, Benue is going to be tougher because religious issues will be raised.
Change and all of that.
A lot of things will be raised.
Now, I just hope that we don't get to the Rwanda spectacle, because if you look at Rwanda, it was basically between the Hutus
and the Tutsis.
And the pygmies, who were very minority.
Yes.
Far and few in number. But in Nigeria here, So who is he going to be against? You have Fulanis, you have Kanuris, you have Hausas, you have Igbos, Yoruba. We have more than 500 ethnic groups. So who will it be against who?
But there's a block.
Okay.
The block is
us versus them.
Yes. When it comes to religion, do we have plural religion other than Christian and Muslim? Traditionalists, they are there. And the funny thing about traditionalists is, if you go to any traditionalist, you see that his name is Ahmed or Shola. Shola is a Christian.
John.
Or John. You know, John is a Christian, Ahmed is a Muslim by name and by birth. So his traditional belief is just secondary.
Anyway, I don't like to remember what went down in Rwanda because I read a lot and I also watched
the movie.
Rwanda.
Yes.
I mean, it's quite scary. I hope that we don't get to that level. Dele, before we leave this topic, I would like to ask you, now that Sheikh Gumi has come out to say, look, I can do this, you know, and a lot of people are throwing it out. No, it's not in your place to do that and all of that. You have to do some kind of soul searching for who you are first. Now, whose responsibility should it be, you know, to start making, because it's clear to everybody now that Nnamdi Kanu has become a political prisoner.
Yeah.
So essentially, what is required to get him out
political
of that
solution?
Is a political solution. So
which I've said more than 2 years.
Yes. Whose responsibility should it be to lead that track of political solution?
Now, charity, they say, begins at home. In all of these interventions,